Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. Pretty quick video today. I'm just going to be pulling some parts for customers. If you remember this 2005 Yukon Denali from previous videos, today I'm getting the middle row seats pulled out for someone that is coming to pick them up this afternoon. These are pretty simple. It's just a couple 18mm nuts and a couple wire connections. I'll show you that when I get to it. And then we need to pull the rear axle out of this one also. Also have a previous video on this. I'll link it above. But this one also pretty straightforward. It's just a couple bolts, a couple wire connectors, and then that comes out also. So I'll get you set up where you can see everything I'm doing. I'm gonna grab all the tools and make sure I have everything that I need. And then I'll show you how to get this stuff out of these things. Like I said, should be pretty quick, simple video. Hopefully it'll be entertaining for you. All right, team, here we go. So we got to get these middle row seats out. The way that I like to do it, you fold the seat forward first, and then you fold your back half down as well. And then the first piece you get is your little cargo cover here. I don't know the exact name for these little plastic bits, but they're held down into the seat bracket with those little metal pop clips. So you slide your screwdriver or your trim retainer tool under there, you can snap those out. And then this plastic trim, again, is just held in place with little snap clips. Oh, goodness. And that'll give you access to your two 18mm bolts back here. So I get those out first. Now the reason I get those out first is because it's going to make it easier for me to get the seat up and out, because I'm going to want to put it in the upright latched position, just like on the airplane, right? While I'm here, I also undo the electrical connector. It's just a little push connector. You just undo that, then fold your seat back up. Then your two front pieces of plastic trim, you can't see them in the video, but they're here. They just lift up out of the way. They're held in with more of those little metal clips. Two more nuts. And that's pretty much it. Your seat is now able to be removed. I put the plastic trim pieces back on. I fold the seat down. I make sure my wire is not tangled up in the seat brackets. And then this one just lifts up and out. So, same process on this side, right? Flip the bottom section up. Flip your back section forward. Grab your little screwdriver or tool. Get the little cargo cover here picked up out of your way. Your plastic trim piece right here. Get that out of your way. Then you have two 18mm nuts. Those off, sit those to the side, and you can fold the back of your seat back up. These are those other two pieces of trim I was talking about. And like I said, they just pop up. You get your two 18mm nuts here. Disconnect your little wire connector. Sure it's not going to get tangled in anything. Set your tools out of the way. Fold your seat back down. Now it's in an easily moved position. Tip it and pull it out. And that's it. Middle row seats removed. Dang, no change on this side. Like I said, I keep the plastic trim pieces with them. So I'll put these with that seat also, and then we'll get to work on pulling this rear axle out. Okay, team. So the next thing we got to do here, we got to get the rear end pulled out of this thing. So when I sell parts, I like to sell them as complete as possible. Like I said, I do this business on the side. I don't need to get rich from this, so it's not as important to me that I nickel and dime every little $2 or $3 or $5 part and piece, as it is that I want to build good relationships with my customers so that the next time they need something, they come back to me instead of going somewhere else to try to save a couple dollars. Like, I can provide a quality product at a very affordable price, which I really hope will help me to build good relationships with customers, which will bring them back to buy things from me more than once. So the next thing I'm going to do on this, and this is always the part that I struggle with getting these rear ends out, is getting the freaking parking brake cables undone. There's lots of ways to do it. I don't want to cut the parking brake cables because it's a lot easier to undo them from the truck and sell them with the rear end. Again, just something that makes it easier for the next person putting it back in for the customer, makes it easier for me getting it out. So I'm gonna show you how I do this. It's, I mean, I'm telling you now, it's gonna be a struggle. It always is for me. And then I'll show you how I pull the rest of the rear end out like I've done in previous videos. The bolts and stuff are easy. It's these parking brake cables that I always struggle with. Okay, so hopefully you can see it up here. We've got this little connector. And basically it comes from the cable attached to the foot pedal to the two cables that control the passenger side and driver side parking brake. Sometimes I have luck and I'm able to just spin this bracket to get the cables to release. Oh man, like that. I can't believe that just happened! Win! Yes! So that's like 1 in 10 that it actually goes that well for me. Most of the time I have to wrestle with them. So then once those are released, all you gotta do is get these little cables out of the bracket here. So there's usually 2 or 3 little ears that stick out. You push those ears in, and then the cable slides back. And then you do the same on the top one. And the cable slides back. So, full disclosure, that's the best that has ever gone for me. They almost always fight me significantly more than that. So the next thing we're gonna do here is get our, these are anti-lock brake wheel speed sensors back here. So we've got to get that disconnected. The plug is inboard of the frame up above, so we'll get that. And we also need to get the bolts out of the control arms. So these upper bolts here, I use a long extension, the impact on the inside, and then zip the bolt right out. The lower bolts, I do pretty much the same thing, impact on the inside, and then run the bolt out towards the center. So I'll sit you up and I'll get those done. And we also need to get the sway bar upper link undone as well. So I'll sit you up where hopefully you can see all of that going on, and we'll do that part. So first, get our sway bar undone. Need to get our shock bolt undone. So that sway bar bolt is 18 millimeters on both sides. The lower shock mount here is 21 millimeters on both sides. There we go. The sway bar, or not sway bar, the track bar is also 21 millimeters both sides. The upper link is 21 on both sides. And the lower link is 21 on both sides. There we go. So now the only thing left holding the axle into the vehicle on the driver's side really is the brake line here and the breather. But the rest is loose on this side, so the axle will be able to just drop down when I'm ready. The other thing that I undo on this, let me get you turned so you can see what I'm doing here. The other thing that I undo on these is these little clips that hold the parking brake cable. I mean, they're easy to undo. You really don't even need the screwdriver, but it makes it a little bit easier. And that gets the parking brake cable loose from your track bar. And then the other thing that I'll point you, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. Right up here is your connector for your wheel speed sensors. So you just unhook and then get all your little retainers loose so that wire stays with the wheel speed sensor and goes along with the axle as well. Like I said, those are the little, in my opinion, the little odds and ends and things that, you know, some yards or some places are going to try to nickel and dime you $5 a sensor or whatever it may be, and I don't need to beat people up to get that extra couple little bucks. I'd rather just give them a good experience and make it as easy as possible for them to get the parts that they need to keep their vehicle on the road. And hopefully that turns into they come back to me next time they need parts instead of going somewhere else, which makes up the difference in price anyway. So that's it for this side. I'll get the other side undone, grab a drain pan, and then we'll lower this thing out and I'll lay the drain pan underneath so it catches all the brake fluid that drips out. But I mean, it's pretty quick and easy on these things. Okay, here we go. So we'll do the same thing on this side. These upper links usually have some tension built in from when the suspension was fully relaxed when they tightened this. So as this bolt comes out, this bar is going to go up. So don't have your face right above there. Just like that. So now, literally the only thing holding this axle where it is right now is the two brake lines and the axle breather vent. So I'm gonna grab the drain pan, snip those two brake lines, because the next person's gonna have to break open his brake system and re-bleed the brakes anyway, and snip that breather because he's gonna attach the breather in his vehicle to it. And then I'll be able to lower the jack and let this axle out from underneath it here. And I come over here from underneath, well behind, and I snip the rubber brake lines. There you go, my drain pan is going to catch almost 99% of that. I snip the little breather tube. And now there's literally nothing holding this axle in. It's sitting there on the jack. It's most likely going to tip forward as I lower the jack, but it's ready to come out. So I let the jack down. It probably is going to fall off the jack, hit my drain pan. Stuff is going to go flying, but we're doing the best we can with what we got, right? So jack comes down. Nice and easy, nice and easy. There we go. So now, all I have to do is make sure everything is out of the way. Undo this other little parking brake cable support that I forgot to undo. And then I can pull the axle backwards. Yeah, see, there's the part that I was talking about where stuff falls all over the place. The axle hits the drain pan, it knocks all the stuff all over the place, you know. And there we have it. One Yukon Denali rear axle pulled out and ready to go have a new owner, live its life and remaining days in another vehicle. This one's in really nice shape. Very little rust. Still has life left in the brake pads. Brake rotors look pretty decent. So yeah, all the next guy will have to do is unbolt these brake lines, bolt his rubber hoses in, bleed the brakes, and bolt it all back together. So that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Like I said, just a couple quick customer pulls. Parts that they asked for yesterday, I had them, and get them pulled out as quickly as I can. I try to deliver quality product at a good price in a short period of time. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. If you didn't learn anything, hopefully it was entertaining for you. You can always watch me struggle with some silly little thing, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Ha! Fake out. Not the end of the video. I just literally 5 minutes ago got a message from a gentleman. He wants the trailer hitch off of another truck that I have here. So this one's got a pretty nice trailer hitch, minimal, if any, rust. In good condition. It's still got the hitch connector bracket on it. So I already have all the tools out. All you need to do these is an 18mm and a 21mm wrench and socket, and the impact makes it go even faster. So I'm just gonna get this thing pulled off. I'm gonna sit you up where hopefully you can see it, and I'll show you how I do them. It's really, I mean, there's 6, 8 bolts. Very quick, very easy. And you don't have to remove the bumper itself to get these hitches off. So I'll sit you up where you can see, and I'll show you how I do it. So here we go. To get this hitch off, there's 2 bolts with nuts right here, 21mm nut and bolt. There's 1 bolt that threads into a capture nut here, also 21mm. The same on the other side, and then there's 2 21mm bolts down here that thread into the bumper itself. Like I said, you don't need to remove the bumper. I undo the frame bolts first, and then the bumper bolts. That way it's easy for me to catch it instead of just letting it fall and hit the ground. There we go. So we've gotten the frame side bolts off. Now we just have 2 more bolts that go through the hitch into the bumper right down here. They're also 21mm. Now this last one, I can hold the hitch up as I get it loose, so I don't just let the hitch fall and hit the ground. Just like that. That way I'm not letting stuff fall and get bent up and dinged up and stuff like that. And then there we go. Hitch bracket removed. I'll throw the bolts back into the holes so the guy that's buying it has them. As far as I know, all of the bumpers have the holes for these 2 bolts to go into, and all the frames have the holes for these bolts to go into. But if you didn't have the trailering package or option, then they didn't put those, obviously they didn't put a hitch on it. So I don't know if this guy is replacing a hitch or if he just doesn't have one and wants to add one. Either way, he'll have everything he needs. All he'll need to do is get his wiring connected for his lights. So now that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you learned something, awesome. I hope it's helpful. If you didn't learn anything, I hope you were at least entertained throughout this video. You got to see me struggle a little bit. You got to see me have a pleasant surprise. And leave a comment. If you have questions, write those out down below. I'll get you an answer as quickly as I can. And if not, subscribe so you see more. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again for watching. Have an awesome afternoon. Oh, a quarter! A quarter!